Hi, this is Rainbow Abeg at Achieve Today. We have a great opportunity to interview Robert Kiyosaki today, a thought leader in the world of finance and education, and we're going to be able to learn a little bit more about him and do an interview. I think you're going to love it.
Oh, Robert, I love the story about you as a little boy melting down the toothpaste tubes and making money. That was written in the stars. You're considered one of the most financial, successful authors of all time. And I was wondering in the beginning, what's one little shift that you knew you had to make to allow your dreams to come true?
One. Well, first of all, you're a coaching company with AI and all this, is that I've always had coaches. It's, and the reason I say that is because if you're going to keep making shifts, you have to have a coach, always. And so when I meet people who are, think they're God Almighty and they know all the answers and they have this mindset, you're not going to make it today. And so the shift is how fast can you keep shifting your mindset? How can you look at what you think is right that might be wrong? It's the thing I'm always doing is shifting my mindset, really reevaluating what I think is real in the world. And that has been my forte. Otherwise, in the real world, I'm not an A student. I don't have the credentials of, somebody went to Harvard and all this stuff, or I don't have a finance degree. And, I'm basically a storyteller. It's a true story. Mm-hmm. But I think the most important thing a person can have today is the willingness to be humble and say, I need to keep learning. What you think is correct today probably won't be correct tonight. It's changing so fast.
Right.
So that's why it's really the thing that I have is constantly having, mentors, coaches, advisors, stuff like that. That is a secret to my success because I was a C student.
Love that. C for cash.
That's right. I like that. I use that often.
So it sounds like open mind, open heart, open wallet, ready to receive, and in that order to some degree. You've got to keep being willing to learn and experience a renewal, take on the next level of knowledge so that you can keep shifting. So
yeah, and it's not just better ready to receive. You really have to learn how to give. Mm-hmm. Give and you shall receive. It's not receive and then you will get.
Right. Exactly.
And I meet so many people today. Well, I don't make enough money. I don't do this. I don't do that. Like, there's something wrong with you. Get a coach.
Love it. Well, some people do pursue money, without trying to pursue personal development. And yet what I really love about your work is that you do focus on both because people will have limiting beliefs about money, and how did you have that sense of merging? A lot of thought leaders might just take one path, but you've been able to merge, the personal development with education and finances.
It's just kind of an evolution, my background is I went to military school. Mm-hmm. And because in New York, because I was a surfer kid growing up in Hawaii, I had basically no discipline. I mean, I was disciplined by the old man, poor dad. And I kept flunking out of school, and I really was on the path to destruction. Mm-hmm. And most of my classmates are in the tropical agriculture business from Hawaii. It's called marijuana. And most of them are drug runners. They've been in jail and all these. And these are my classmates. Right. And my good friends. I'm still good friends with them.
Sure.
All of them have spent some time in jail. I'm still good friends with them. But that's where I was headed to. And I think the best thing that happened to me is my poor dad, he had no money. He was a PhD, Stanford graduate, all the other accoutrements, He had no money. And that was my whole complaint. I said, look, you spent all your life in school and you got no money. I mean, that's ridiculous. But then, as you know, you go to Sunday school and you say that, well, the love of money is the root of all evil. And I'm going, no, it isn't. You know, give and you shall receive. The question always, what are you willing to give? But with that, because my father had, so a bad thing was my father had no money. And basically, I knew if I stayed in Hawaii, I'd be a surfer. I knew I had to do something, so I applied to get a free scholarship. So I got appointments to a U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis. I had terrible grades, but I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? I had high academics, of course. Horrible grades.
Right.
And so I took the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York, because back then they were the highest paid graduates in the world. You know, when I was in Kings Point, my peers were making $120,000 a year tax-free. And that's not a lot of money today, you know what I mean? But in 1966, $120,000 a year tax-free was a lot of money, you know, $10,000 a month. So that's why I took U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York versus U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis, Maryland. And that was a great decision. But then the Vietnam War lingered on. And so in 1969, rather than take the high-paying job, which I had, I went to serve my country. So I volunteered for the U.S. Marine Corps. I went to flight school in Florida, then to Camp Pendleton, California, and then on to Vietnam. And it was wonderful. You know, I flew the helicopter gunship out there. I had some extreme highs and extreme lows. And there's something about facing death that kind of makes you appreciate life. You know what I mean? And I don't think most people ever get there. You know, they sort of kind of left-footed, right-footed through life. You know, life's easy for them. And, you know, they get their welfare check, whatever they do. But in Vietnam is where I came into spirituality, was every night before the mission. You know, it could have been my, you know, it's like tomorrow could be it. Right. You know, 25 years old, it's tomorrow's over. So I go to the bow of the aircraft carrier and just sit there. And then I pray, you know, pray as you talk to God. And then I meditate. And meditate as God talks to you. The silence, the stillness. And that's where I kind of tapped into something different. You know what I mean? It wasn't what I was taught in school. It was not thinking. It was mindless. Just to be there at peace with the ocean and the waves. And, you know, tomorrow is, you know, if tomorrow's the last day, so be it. And I never asked to live. I would pray. I said, just let me be the best I can be tomorrow, because there's people counting on me. You know, I was a gunship pilot. And if I didn't do my job, people died. So I just asked to be the best I could be. I never asked to live or I get killed and all that crap. And that's where I kind of tapped into it. And then one day, we were flying a strike into just south of the DMZ, the militarized zone. We're already losing the war. This is 72, 73. We're already 72. We're losing the war. And nobody wanted to be the last guy that dies. I had two classmates that never came back. They're still MIA. And then my engine quit. And again, you know, it's that instantaneous, oh my God, this is it. You know, if I don't fly very well now, 5 guys died today. And not only that, is the rest of my, you know, the other aircraft that were flying in, they lose one person, it hurts the whole operation. And that's when I kind of went exterior, if you understand what that means. You know, I went out of my body. And all of a sudden I could see myself flying the aircraft as it was going down like a brick. There's no, helicopters don't fly without an engine, you know, and I had 18 rockets, 6 machine guns, crew of 5, ammunition. And we were going down so fast. And you don't have time to say, you know, I should have studied this in school. You know, I should have done this. So in that split second, I tapped into something different again. I went, oh my God, what is this? And we're in the water in about probably less than 10 seconds. But we all lived. So that kind of set me on another path in life. I could no longer support the war. We're being lied to, as well. All wars are lies. And I came back, I'm an academy graduate, Marine Corps officer, Marine Corps pilot, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I faced being court-martialed, so I'm not going to fight anymore. I will fight no more, no longer. So those are the transitions. You go, well, we face them every single day. What I say to most people is, if you're just kind of taking a left foot, right foot through life, waiting for life to happen to you, you're wasting your time. The most precious gift is life. So that's why I have coaches, because I want to maximize now, not 10 minutes from now. I want to be now. And so that kind of set me on a whole other path of life. And I could no longer drink the Kool-Aid, if you know what I mean.
Right.
USA, 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 we're killing commies for Christ, all this stuff. I'm going, no, I can't do that. I refuse to do that. So that makes me a traitor, if you understand the context of that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not killing commies for Jesus, what am I? And I said, I don't want to do that anymore. That's the Marine Corps, by the way. Marines are not sane people. I love them dearly. I do it again. You know what I mean? I met some of the best young men, and there were no women at the time. Right. Met some of the best, most powerful young men, officers and not officers. They're there into service of country. And so when I come back to the world, and I got spit on and all that stuff by the hippies and all that crap, and, the same protests that are going on in the streets today, and I just thought, what a waste of time that is. Why make somebody wrong? So when I came back, I just said, I'm going to find something different. I'm not going to. It's almost like bye-bye. I choose not to participate in the reality of this world.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to school to get your master's degree. No, I don't. You have to get a job. I said, no, I don't think so. You have to save money. No, I really don't think so. I'm going to think for myself. So that's a long answer to you, and I wouldn't have got here without great spiritual coaches, physical coaches, business coaches, things like that, because no human being's an island. And I remember I flunked out of Sunday school also, but I flunked out of everything. I think one of the best lessons I got from my Sunday school teacher, like 9 or 10 years old, I'm bored stiff as usual. I think I have ADD. I can't sit still, So anyway, she starts talking about the 3 wise men. And I thought, okay, well, I read the story, I'm not pushing religion either. I want you to know that. I don't, none of that genre. I believe in freedom of religion. You can do what you want. So anyway, she said, what makes the 3 wise men wise? Isn't that a good question? So they had frankincense, myrrh, and all that stuff. Say, okay, yeah, they were wise because they were rich. The young Sunday school teacher says, well, that's not quite it, So everybody's guessing what made them wise. And so she was about 25, I'm 10 years old. She goes, what makes them wise is they always seek teachers. You see, they were seeking the next teacher, which was Christ. And, I went, huh. So then I go to school, and none of those teachers would I listen to. I didn't like most of my school teachers. They're always telling me, you got a job security, and don't make mistakes, and, cooperate. If you cheat, cheating is helping somebody. I'm going, it doesn't make sense to me. So it was tough, to kind of stick to my guns and say, look, I don't like you guys. I mean, I personally don't like school teachers, because they drank the Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
There's smart people and stupid people. Well, I was always a stupid person, so I especially didn't like that. But I just kept saying there's got to be a better way of teaching people. So that's why, I create my cash flow game and I write Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was already rich. I was already retired. But I want to share what I know. I don't believe in giving people money. I don't believe in giving people fish. I believe in teaching people to fish. But so many people today, they're called socialists and communists. I'm not either one of those guys, but they want to give people money today. You're just going to create more poor people. You give people money, they'll just grow like weeds. Because our schools teach us nothing about money. So what do you expect them to do? So that's why in '96 I created the cash flow game, and my wife and I, and so people could teach people. You don't have to go to school. If you want to go to school to be a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant, go to school. But to be rich, you don't have to go to school. Now, that's my whole premise. So that's why in '96 the cash flow game came out. It's the only game that teaches accounting. Income statement, balance sheet, income, assets, cash flow. It teaches why the rich get richer. But our schools want us to be middle class, work for money. And you look at what's happening today, they printed more money in the last 10 years than any time in history. Why would you work for money? Why would you save money? Why would you put it in the stock market? But most people are sheep, bah, bah. They do what their financial planner tells them to do. Give me your money. So that's me. I just don't want to drink the Kool-Aid.
So it sounds like you've had some powerful points of awakening, and really even facing fear. I love what you're saying about, just wanting to show up and be the best you can be in every situation, and letting go of the outcome, not knowing what tomorrow will bring, and getting into that silence and being able to really tap into that infinite intelligence that really ultimately, it sounds like, showed you, right? Helped you align with that integrity and that authentic man that you are, which is somebody that thinks outside the box. It's not that you were dumb.
And we all have that power.
Right.
We all have it. It's not, like the sun doesn't just shine on you and me. It shines on everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, and to honor your own brilliance.
Yeah. But our schools tell us this is the right answer, this is the wrong answer. If you make a mistake, you're stupid. And if you help somebody, you're cheating.
Right. Do you want to talk a little bit about mistakes and the value of failure, failing till you succeed, and helping people maybe identify fears and, again, like you say, coaches and, getting into those beliefs. But what would you say about success, failure, the relationship between
It's
them?
like life and death. Like I said, one of the most important things I got was that I'm sitting on board the carrier, the ocean's going by, it's, probably 2:00 in the morning. I have to be up at 5 to, pre-flight, get my breakfast, and we take off. But when you're facing the end of it, if tomorrow is it, in a few hours, maybe I'm dead, you kind of value life. So when teachers and schools teach us this is right and this is wrong, well, they're both right. You look at why was I killing Vietnamese people? I have nothing against them because I thought I was right. You look at all the people attacking Trump today because they think they're right and they think Trump is wrong. That is complete ignorance. Complete ignorance. As my teacher was Buckminster Fuller, he says, God didn't give you a left foot and a right foot, or a left foot and a wrong foot. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You make progress going right, left. So you go this way, you make a mistake. Okay, I learned something, go left. Or say in another way, the way a baby learns to walk is by falling down. I learned to ride a bicycle falling off the damn thing. Now, one day I got so fed up, I said, I'm going to ride this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? That's how we learn. But our school system is corrupt. They punish you for making mistakes, so you can't learn. You're so attached to the right answer. Oh, I've got to be right. I've got to be right. I've got to be right. And if somebody disagrees with it, they're wrong. And we're going to kill each other eventually. When somebody's going to push a button or do something, cyber attack or something, because they're wrong and I'm right. That's why I just think our school system is a criminal operation right now. They've really got to evolve. So they find the smartest students, they give them the best education, and they forget about the kids who don't have the ability, to get into the best schools.
Right.
And so the thing that always amazed me was, when I was 9 years old, I raised my hand in the fourth grade. I said, hey, when am I going to learn about money? And the teacher said, we don't teach money at school. The love of money is the root of all evil. I'm going, BS. So all I did with Rich Dad was I'm going to teach everybody about money, whether they go to school or not. I democratize it, make it available to everybody. Then you can do what you like with it. So I just do what the schools don't do. And the way we teach is via cooperation. You play the game, you help each other. I come in with my advisors. I have my accountants, my attorneys, my bankers, and all this. We operate as a team. In school, that's called cheating. That's why poor dad was poor, because he could never ask for help. Because in school, if you ask for help, you're cheating. And they live in this little rarefied world of I'm right and they're wrong. And they're broke. My old man, poor dad, great guy, Stanford, Northwestern University, Chicago, PhD, he was broke. But he couldn't admit it. He knew nothing about money. So that's why when I was 9 years old, I went to see my rich dad, my best friend's father. So I became an apprentice to him, and he just taught me playing Monopoly. So, I worked for free in his office, learning how the business operated, the whole thing. And then very simply, I would just play Monopoly. He would play Monopoly with his son and me, and he would coach us through it. Try that move. What is that move? He didn't give me the answer. Why are you doing that? Have you thought about this?
He taught you to think.
Yeah. There's more than one right answer out there, sports fans.
Yeah.
Go to school and get a job, pay taxes. Well, I don't do any of those things. I don't even pay taxes because you don't have to. But you have to do what the government asks you to do. I obey the laws.
Right.
But they don't do that in school.
So you are talking also about like unifying your team, basically. You have a team, you're standing out front, but you have
What happens if you don't have a team?
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about the importance of that, maybe, unifying that in your leadership and, creating that unity with your team.
Well, let me give you this thing. A lot of people unify. My poor dad unified the school teachers. They call it a labor union. And so what you have is a union of financially unsophisticated people, a bunch of school teachers. You get a bunch of accountants together, they're still a bunch of accountants. They're using this new word today called diversity. Well, if you're going to be rich, you need at least 3 different people. You need a bookkeeper. And whenever I have somebody telling me, oh, I do my own books, I said, well, then you're an idiot. You know why? Because money is such an emotional subject. You're going to lie to yourself on your books. You don't keep good records. So once you have a bookkeeper who keeps good records for you, then your accountant gets it, then your attorney gets it, then your banker gets it. So it's bookkeeper, accountant, attorney, banker. So that's why in 2008, when the markets crashed, everybody was crying the blues, people were losing their houses and all this. And I thought I went to heaven. Real estate prices were dropping and interest rates were dropping. So I borrowed $300 million. $300 million is not Donald Trump's money. But $300 million, now it's about $600 million. So I'm $600 million in debt, and I'm making fortunes, and I don't pay any taxes. That's because I questioned what my school teachers were teaching me.
So ask better questions.
Huh?
Ask better questions.
No, don't ask stupid people. You don't ask me to do technology. I don't know anything about technology. I am an obsolete old man. Don't ask me to fix your car. My garbage disposal broke. I don't know how to fix that thing. I'm not a do-it-yourselfer. I'm a team player. So I have good accountants, attorneys, bankers. I have several coaches, personal coaches. I have personal doctors. Do you know what I mean? I have medical doctors. I have naturopathic doctors. I have chiropractors. I have acupuncturists. It's a team. But they're not the same person like school teachers are. It's called a labor union. So if you're going to be successful in life, it really is what they call diversity, I mean, it is much BS. How diverse are you? I ask everybody, who is your bookkeeper? Most people go, what? Who's your accountant? Who? Who's your attorney? What? Who's your banker? I don't have one. Well, how do you expect to be rich? Who's your coach? Oh, they're expensive. I don't have the time. You're a loser. You set it up because you're a good A student. You went to school. You do it all by yourself. I was very cooperative in school. I was sat next to the smartest girls. That's where I got my answers from. But the teacher called me for cheating. And nothing has changed. I still sit next to the smartest people I know. Some men, some women. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a team.
So who are your heroes and how have they influenced your life?
That's a good question, because your heroes are a reflection of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was talking to this one kid, who's your hero? I said, Michael Jordan. I said, well, that's his reflection. Like Michael Jordan's a great guy, but he's not my hero. But one of my best was Buckminster Fuller. They call him he invented the geodesic dome and all that. And I studied with him 3 times in 81, 82, 83. And each time it just changed my life. I saw the world differently. So I hate to say this, I only have 2 school teachers that are heroes. The rest I could do without. And this kind of got in my way. And not bad people, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
They just were not my kind of hero.
Right.
I have my 5th grade teacher was my hero, and we just had our 60th class reunion. We were 10 years old when he was our teacher, and students come from all over the world just to hang out with him again for 2 more days. That's how great a teacher he was.
Absolutely.
How many of you hang out with your teachers? Probably none. That's how bad they were. So, that's how you run your life. And so my hero is my cardiologist. He's one of my best teachers. He teaches me how to meditate. He says, I can't help you because you're just so hyped up, you're so overstressed and all this stuff. He says, if you don't meditate, you're going to kill yourself. So I meditate. Every morning I meditate and I do my process. I read spiritual books like The Power of Now, by Tali, and The New Earth, and spiritual books. And then I read my finance books.
Mm-hmm.
I read them all because that's what the teachers are. The teachers are in great books. So, and some of them are dead. Like Christ is gone. Not that he wrote a book, somebody else. But anyway, So again, it goes back to the 3 wise men. You're still searching the teacher. And so your heroes are teachers. Except today, people don't like their teachers. They don't love them. They don't respect them. Most teachers are there for the paycheck, if they're honest about it. Like my poor dad. They're good people. But they want job security, they want the pension, they want time off, they want time with the kids. It's not to teach. I teach. I don't need a job. I don't care what I say. That's a teacher.
So what would you advise someone looking for coaching? What would they look for in a great coach? What do you look for?
Why don't you ask the question, how do you find a good husband or wife? You better interview them. You know what I mean? Just like my CEOs, I interview them. My accountants, I interview. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
But you'll know when you meet them. That's it. Like when I met my wife, I knew she was it. This is the one. I love her all my heart. I knew. She didn't like me, but I loved her. I had some work to do on myself. I was a rugby player, a drunk, a rugby player, a womanizer, walking around Hawaii in my Porsche and my Harley Davidson. I was high as a kite. I don't do drugs, but I was just high on life. My ego was so out of proportion, she couldn't stand me.
Huh?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
It's called self-love. She says, you're such an arrogant SOB. I want to go out with you.
So she inspired you. Define the highest version of yourself, so you could.
Well, it's like, what they say, it's not finding the right person, it's being the right person. So that's the best thing about marriage. All relationships, marriage, business, are all dysfunctional. You meet a flawed person. So if you think he's Prince Charming or she's Prince, whatever her name is, Princess whatever, Grace, you're living in La La Land. So you go out, you date, you have sex, you think, oh, this is it. And then the dysfunction sets in. You know what I mean? That's life. So the question is, how do you get past that? So Kim and I have a coach for our relationship. If I'm upset with her, I call the coach. And if she's upset with me, she calls the coach. We don't take it out on each other. So we have different coaches. We have physical fitness coaches. And so we subscribe to the thing, empirically. It's how we get here. And it's the people who say, like, oh, I can't afford it, I don't have the time, then you're a loser. I hate to say that, but you're not going to make it that way. Things are changing way too fast right now. We're no longer in the industrial age. We're information age today. And if you're not changing, it's that Moore's law, everything changes every 18 months or so. Not really a law, it's just a process. But if you're not changing like moment to moment, so that's what meditation is. Meditation is you go up, you touch eternity in stillness, and nothing happens, but you come back, you're different. Then you go back into past, present, hope streams, all that stuff. But the meditation, and you come back, I'm still me, but I'm different. So there's more and more guys and women who are saying, meditate. So I have a coach that helps me meditate because I'm so bad at it. I cannot shut my brain up. Uh-huh. So that's the hardest part, shutting that mind off. And if you look at education, our educations are designed to teach our mind, train our mind to think. But the key to life, which is ancient, is don't think. Absolutely. Tap into the eternal.
Tap into that inspiration. Got to enter the mind.
That's eternal. Like I said, I would sit in the bow of the carrier,
mm-hmm.
and I got okay with dying. It's just been this peace. It's peace.
Well, you have lived a remarkable life in many different stages. And so maybe my final question would be, you have a legacy, you have best-selling books, you've changed millions of people's lives. What would be your center point for what you would desire for your legacy? What is your life purpose? What would you say, this is what I want to leave as my legacy?
Well, if I could leave you with this message, because I hear it all the time today in the pop culture. Oh, take your passion. What are you passionate about? If I did what I was passionate about, I'd be in jail. You know what I mean? That's it. So passion is very selfish. It's what I want. It's my passion. When I look at sports, my passion was rugby. I think baseball is okay, football is okay, but rugby was life for me. But what I learned from Bucky Fuller was that the question for people to do it's not even about your purpose. It's to ask, what does God want done? What job does God want done? And then sit there, meditate, check it out, whatever you have to do. Then you go, okay, what does God want done that I can do? And that becomes your purpose. But it's not your purpose. It's your partnership with God. I'm not pumping Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad and all that. I'm just talking about the Spirit. So after I met Fuller, I'm sitting there going, okay, what does God want done? And what used to just piss me off all the time was school. So how can they punish you for making mistakes? How can they tell me cooperation is cheating? How can they not teach me about money? How dare they do that? And then I said, I wonder if that's what God wants done. So it might be. And I said, well, there's no financial education in school. You know, the gap today, even in America, the gap between rich and poor is so wide. And the trouble with the gap between rich and poor being so wide, it leads to anarchy, revolution. You know, it's dangerous. And my generation, the baby boomers, we're in big trouble because it was my generation in 1974. They shifted from defined benefit pension plans. Defined benefit pension plan is a plan, you know, you work for, let's say, IBM or Xerox or whatever you do, the government, and they gave you a paycheck for life. That's defined benefit. So you were certain you got $3,000 or $5,000 a month for the rest of your life. Well, in '74, that changed. And they went to a thing called defined contribution. They call it ERISA. Today it's called a 401k, IRA, SEPs, and all that stuff. My generation is not going to make it. They're out of money. So you think, you know, you're young, you have time. My guys, the old guys, we're toast. State governments, their pensions are sunk, they're underwater. Look at CalPERS. California, their pension, CalPERS, state employee pension plan, is underwater $1 trillion. Now, this is the difference between the state of California and federal America. America, if you're the government, the federal government, you can print money to pay the employees. State governments cannot. So let's say I'm an employee, you know, I'm 70 years old, I'm working for the state of California, I'm retired, and the government runs out of money. They're not going to pay. They can't. So if you look at what's going on in Nicaragua right now, the rioting going on is because they stopped paying the pensions. Look at what happened in Zimbabwe, you know, when Mugabe came to power back in the late 80s, 90s. They stopped paying the pensions. It's going to happen here in the next few years. So it's the old guys like me who are in serious, serious trouble. And the stock market, you know, the 25,000. The last time it crashed was at 14,000. And all they did was pump it up with fake money. They just pumped it up with quantitative easing, they called it. It's just printing money. So when I looked at what did God want done, it's not what I didn't want to do it. I had enough money. So what God wanted done is that somebody needs to teach you yo-yos about money. And so in 1996, my wife and I created the cash flow game, and you know, what Rich Dad Poor Dad in '97. So people can teach people. You don't need to go to school. You're not going to learn anything anyway about money. So that became my life's purpose, you know, because it's also God's purpose. I think that's what God wants done. Because if we don't teach people about money, there's going to be anarchy. Always has been, always will happen. Now, the last time they printed money, a guy named Adolf Hitler came to power, and they went to Auschwitz. Every time they print money, tragedy happens. That's how close we are today. So that's why I speak and I talk and I do that. I don't need the money. I like money. I like making money. But I have to teach. If I don't teach, I die. God doesn't need me anymore. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Your purpose is your partnership with God. What does God want done? If you look around, there's a lot that needs to be done. You know, they don't need another hairspray. They don't need another toothpaste. They don't need another app. You know, what does God want done? That's the question.
Well, that's a beautiful thought. Thank you so much for taking time with me today. It's just been a delight and an honor.
Well, it's an honor for me too. Keep up the good work.
We will. Our clients and students will absolutely love hearing from you and your wisdom. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Remember, it's always give and you shall receive, not receive and then maybe you'll give.
Absolutely.
It's the other way around.
Perfect order.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this today. Come visit us at achievetoday.com and learn more about coaching and how it can benefit you.